and your children are turned into mindless vassals who now they look up to some twit instead of looking up to Thomas Jefferson or looking up to Nikola Tesla or looking up to Magellan. I mean, kids, Magellan's a lot cooler than Justin Bieber. He circumnavigated with one ship the entire planet. He was killed by wild natives before they got back to Portugal. And when they got back, there was only like 11 people alive of the 200 and something crew, and the entire ship was rotting down to the waterline. That's destiny. That's will. That's striving. That's being a trailblazer, an explorer, going into space, mathematics, quantum mechanics, the secrets of the universe. It's all there. Life is fiery with its beauty, its incredible detail. Tuning into it. They want to shatter your mind talking about Justin Bieber.
Hello out there. We're on the air. Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome back. This is the 88 Sats radio channel. I guess we're just 88 Sats now. We dropped the radio. And this show is titled Why Most People Will Never Get Bitcoin. And this show is called Reason to Believe because in a world of chaos, uncertainty, fear, a lot of fear out there. There's also a lot of things to be hopeful about and happy about and optimistic about. And that's what we try to shine the light on here. A lot of bad people. I think that, if you found your way to this channel somehow, some way, then you've kind of been through the gauntlet, I guess you'd say, of seeing how bad things can be, how evil people can be. And it wears on you. It definitely takes a toll on you. So what we try to do here every morning together is show why, most people are good. Most people are good. And we have this new tool called Bitcoin that's going to set anybody free who wants to be set free. I think that that's one thing that I've come to the realization of as of late is that Bitcoin really isn't for everyone. Natalie Brunell wrote a book called Bitcoin is for Everyone. And it's there for everyone, but it's not for everyone. I don't know how much sense that makes, but there's kind of two things. Number one, you have to have faith and hope and belief for the future in order to get to Bitcoin. You have to. And not everybody wants to be saved. I think that that's the crazy thing about it. I think that there's a lot of people out there who would rather just live a convenient life than a sovereign life. They want everybody to do everything else for them instead of taking agency and responsibility for themselves. And so Bitcoin as it is, the tool that it is, isn't for everyone because not everybody has the ability, not everybody has a desire to hold Bitcoin, to want Bitcoin, what Bitcoin gives you. Because it gives you a lot, but it also demands a lot from you. And from the conversations I've had with people through the last 3 years-ish, there's a lot of people who want to take that on, but a lot of people think it's intimidating. But the other thing too about Bitcoin being not for everyone is that in order to get the benefits of Bitcoin, you have to have value to store. And before you get value to store, you need to create value. And lots of people out there, I'm sure everybody can think of some off the top of their head, I should say. Some people just don't have any desire to add any sort of value. They just want to, watch Netflix, play video games, sit on the couch, sleep, eat, just get by, And I think they're missing the whole plot here. I think they really miss how powerful, how unique, how special they are. And it's not their fault. That's the thing. And that's why I show up here every day, because it's not their fault. That thought, that paradigm has been placed into them from a very young age, whether it was in their household, by their parents, their siblings, or by the school system. And that's what the system does from a very early age. It just tramples on you. It steps on you. It keeps you down. It tells you that you're not worth anything. You're not creative. You're stupid. And it's sickening. It's sickening that they've got away with this for so long. And so there's a lot of people out there who just don't create value. They don't provide anything to the world. And so they don't have any value to store. They get a little bit of money, they spend that money. Bitcoin's not for them. But Bitcoin is for the people who want agency, who want sovereignty, who have value to store. And that's the most exciting thing about it. And that's who's here today. That's the kind of people who watch the show. So that's why we do this show every single day. And it's awesome to be with you all today. So let's get into it. I'm just sharpening up a logo here. I'll show you it in a second. Did you see the little thing we had here? Look at that. I could almost replace the Visionaries logo in the background with just this. I could almost set it up so it looks like it's on the TV. Kind of cool. It's overlay. That's what it's called. I guess it always existed. They just added a new feature to it so you can move it wherever you want to move it. I think, anyways, I don't know. It popped up this morning. But anyways, let's I'll show you this new logo I was working on today right before the show. I added a new logo in school yesterday, but I think we should try to keep it as simple as possible. So check this one out. Actually, a couple here. This is our new Maple logo that we came up with yesterday with the help of artificial intelli. AI, as some might know it. Artificial intelli. Look at that nice little logo. So that's the Maple one. And then here's the new Visionaries one. How sick is that? Pretty nice. So that's going to be the new Visionaries logo in school. It's got a little bit of everything. It has the theme, the brand we've been working with here, kind of like a futuristic look. A duck for ducks fly together. You guys watching the ducks in the pond there? I noticed something yesterday. I was watching the ducks in the pond yesterday before the show started. I kind of was mesmerized by it, I guess. And there was a couple seagulls. There were seagulls. There was just the ducks. There was about, 20 ducks in the pond. And they're all just kind of swimming around, quacking, eating. Some were up on the cliff there. They were just hanging out. They were just being ducks. And then all of a sudden these seagulls come in and they start attacking the ducks and trying to steal from the ducks. And it was just chaos. And it really reminded me of kind of how life is. There's people, good people out there. Like I would say the people who are in the stream here today who just want to, just swim, just eat, just hang out, just be with each other, just get along. You know what I mean? And then there's other people who come in and attack and try to steal from you and think that this is theirs and not yours. So I really like the ducks. There's a lot of different animals and birds that you could kind of associate with, but I think the ducks are a good one because that's really what we're doing here in Bitcoin. Is that's where it all came from? The V, Epoch V for Visionaries, and the V for the formation the ducks fly in. And because you have to, you have to work together. If you want to do anything great in life, you have to work together. And I feel like ducks are the perfect representation of that. So that's where we're starting the show today. Pretty nice logo. Pretty nice logo. I just got to save that now and upload it to school. Ooh, it's kind of tough to beat this logo though. Okay, well, I might have to do a little bit of work. Still working on it. Work in progress. Anyways, how are we doing? I see Noster's not working again. I'm actually going to I'm going to make a post right now and tag Kieran in it. Seemed to work last time when I messaged Kieran because we had a couple days off of Noster, and I just kind of woke up the next day hoping that it would just fix itself. Didn't. So we'll have to. I'm gonna try sending a message to Kieran. Maybe we'll even get it fixed live on the show today. Well, how do you spell Kieran? Kieran, maybe if I just say Kieran enough, he'll just appear. How do you spell Kieran? Oh, there he is. Kieran. Yo, Kieran. Zap streams been down for the last couple days. Anything I need to do or update? Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Anyways, well, life goes on. Life goes on without Noster today. Let's get through some comments here. Praetorian's here. Good morning, Praetorian. Praetorian left one heck of a message. I want to share it. Is it Praetorian? You're still here? You got to be. I'm going to share this. It's on YouTube, so it's public info. But one of the nicest comments I've ever seen on YouTube before. Let's check this out. This is from our guy Praetorian. Let's check this out here. Oh, that's not what we wanted to do. Right here. Zoom. Zoom, man. Okay, well, I'll just read it to you. How about that? You can see it here. Should be able to zoom. Why can't I zoom? Oh, there we go. I guess we got to do it like that. Okay. So this is from Praetorian. Everyone knows Praetorian here. He said, what I've learned in Visionary so far, we discuss something deeper than just Bitcoin. We talk about building a life alongside people who choose sovereignty of mind, strong families, private education for their children, and communities rooted in values rather than dependence. Love that. A modern tribe, secular in governance, free in thought, yet united by shared principles and mutual respect. Amen to that. You know, we've had this community for almost 3 years now. I didn't realize it was that long. Started as Living in the Future. Met a lot of great people there. A lot of them have transitioned to the Visionaries community. But that's what it is. It's mutual respect. We haven't had hardly any issues in that community. You know, there's no rules. There's no like moderator. And it's kind of wild to me, honestly. We've had like one person rage quit, and it wasn't even like that bad of a thing. In 3 years. It says a lot. It really does. And I don't know. It's you know, we kind of take it for granted, but there's something special there, I would say. But it's because of mutual respect. Not merely individuals on the same financial journey, but families growing together over decades. The kind of people who start as friends and slowly become something rarer. Brothers, sisters, neighbors, and trusted allies. In a world that feels increasingly temporary, communities like this are almost impossible to find. And truthfully, what we are building together is worth more than wealth alone, more than markets, more than status, because when the noise fades, the greatest form of wealth will always be having good people beside you to walk through life with. Pretty special. Pretty special. Makes me a little bit emotional, honestly. But yeah, I encourage you. It is wild to me, and I don't really think about that. I don't say it enough, but like it is something very special that has been built there, and you can join if you show up here every day. If you've been enjoying these shows, you don't even have to be there. That's a cool thing. It's like there's a lot of people here who watch the show after. Like there's usually like 200 people who watch the show live, like in and out of here. 200 people, maybe 250. And then there's usually like over 1,000, I think, every day between Rumble and YouTube. And so there's a lot of people who don't get to be here for the live shows. And so I figured that this community, this Visionaries community, can almost be like a bridge where if somebody can't watch the live streams, they can join the community and still be part of that. So I'm going to put this on the screen here. Join the Visionaries. I'm going to do a little video and put that as in the about page for the Visionaries community, because that's when you read that, when you see that, you're like, okay, well, why wouldn't I join? Join the community. Join the Visionaries community now for free. How about that one? There we go. Join the Visionaries community now for free. School.com/88 sats. You do have to pass a bit of a test there. You got 3 questions you got to answer. And most people get through. Some people don't. Way she goes. Dorian on Rumble and on YouTube. 65 sats, Mark, Bob, Stewie, the boys. Sharon B, good morning, everyone. Is this the right place to watch the Ducks? Yes. Sharon, Praetorian, Ginger's here. Good morning, Ginger. Good to see you, buddy. Really good to see you. Jake, 21 hats. Victus says, good morning. What a beautiful day, as long as I don't have to go to work. Day off. It's not as nice here. It was really windy. It's kind of rainy. It's very dark here today. That's why you can see the orange on my face today, because I have no natural light coming in. There's the captain right there. Good morning, Captain. Good to see you, man. Joshua Rumble, good morning. Good morning, Joshua. Hey, Josh, I want to give a shout out to Josh here, because yesterday I missed this. And Josh sent a Josh Zap to Arnie's wallet yesterday, because the Zap streams have been down. So Josh sent one to Lucky Boy on Tuesday and sent one to Arnie Boy yesterday. So the Josh Zap, the King Zap. Thank you, Josh. Missed that one yesterday, so I got to add a point for that one. Mark also sent Arnie Boy a Zap this morning. The 65 sats Zap. Thank you, Mark. And somebody sent 777 lucky sevens. The connection, the 7 between the spiritual world and the physical world. The number 7. That's what I've heard, anyways. But I don't know who that was. Maybe Joey? Joey Beggs? Joey Beggs in the chat? Who knows? Kachok's here, though. Kachok, good morning. Lauren Stern. Sharon B. Florida Swamp Donkey. Hey, I just saw this guy over in the Mastermind chat. He had a savage comment over there. He had a savage comment over in the Mastermind. He's like, who the hell are these guys? I've been in Bitcoin for 10 years. I don't recognize any of these guys. Buck 52. He must be going between chats, because this was about the time where I saw him over there. 909. Buck 52. Spicy. Are we spicy today? We'll see. Paulie's here. The game is afoot. Soldiers are present. Good morning, Paulie. Good morning. Peacemaker says, who's feeding the ducks today? Well, so far we've had Mark. We had, I think, maybe Joey. I don't know who it was. But that's who's feeding the ducks today. And there were some other zaps, I think, here that I should get through. Peacemaker, good to see you, man. Got some sats for him. Good man. Scotty boy, look at this. Hello, is this the right place for someone back at home finally? Welcome back, Scotty. Agent 99, welcome home. We missed you, no doubt. No freaking doubt. We got another zap here from Sats and Sunsets, who sent 24 sats. 24 sats for show number 24 today. And he said, can't make it this morning. What do you say? Can't make it this morning. I'll make up for it tomorrow. Sats and Sunsets. I do not doubt that. We got a Sharon B zap, it looks like, too. Or a Jenny. No, Praetorian. Praetorian's been taking the Sharon B zap. I don't know if you watched the last couple of shows, Sharon B, but Praetorian's been stealing your zap. So that was either Praetorian or Sharon B. I don't know who it was, but whoever it was, thank you. And somebody also sent another shot of espresso here and said, good morning, Jor. I'm not making this up either. I could just say really whatever I wanted in the comments, but I don't really want to say this one, because that would sound kind of like I'm making it up. I might have also sent it to myself, though. Good morning, Jor. Thank you for being the best. Thank you to whoever that was. I'm going to guess it was either Letha, Praetorian. Those are my top 2 guesses. Letha, Praetorian. And we got some more 7s here. That must be Jenny today. I'm going to guess that's Jenny, because actually Jerry had something he was doing, which we're going to actually talk about today. But it was around the number 7. So I'm thinking that was Jenny because we also got 7 sats there. So I haven't seen Jenny yet, but I'm going to assume that was Jenny. Jenny was zapping 7s last night. We got it. Oh, look at this. We got Cypher. Cypher back in the house. Cypher says Cypher DCA, which today is 3742. So the price must be down a little bit. 3742. Love to see that. Thank you, Cypher. Good to see you, man. Welcome back. Although I shouldn't say welcome back because there's probably people who still watch the stream every day. They just don't really have anything to say. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of people in the chat every day who are active, but I'm guessing there's still people who watch the show and just don't say anything. They got nothing to add. So I want to say welcome back, but you might have been here. Relentless Acres is in the chat. The man himself. The man himself. I actually had a chance. I shouldn't say a chance, a pleasure of chatting with Relentless Acres yesterday. We had a really good chat for about an hour. We had it scheduled for half an hour and we went just under an hour. So great guy. I feel like I'll be keeping in touch with him through the years here. Just amazing the people you meet. And it's different too. You know, Bitcoin, it's different when you meet a Bitcoiner. In real life, even better, but even through the airwaves, it's great. So good morning, Relentless Acres. Kachuk says, hey, Victus, I tried out Peach low liquidity for local options in my country and a little scared to KYC myself to Wise. Otherwise, cool app. I've never used Peach. I don't think we have it available here. VHF's here. Good morning, VHF. Good to see you, man. Scotty's already talking about sleeping. All right, well, enjoy your snooze, Scotty boy. Thanks for stopping by. I guess we'll just have to do the DCA ourselves. Like we have been. Scotty's the hardest working unpaid employee here. 3 weeks away. Wow. Scotty, glad you made it back home. No doubt. Look at this. Frumble, also known as Letha, the icon, is in the chat. I love the name Frumble. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because I love Letha. But good to see you, Letha. She said the Nostr webs are down for me. I know. We're working on it. Chuck, CWH13 is here. Says, good morning, everyone. Good morning. And it looks like you did something. Whenever there's no message, that means it's something happened. Chuck gifted 1 subscription. Who got it? Letha. Letha got it. Oh, yes. Awesome. Frumble 2021 got the subscription from Chuck this morning. Thank you, Chuck. Congratulations, Letha. Hands off my sats. There she is. I knew she was here. I knew it. She didn't even send her zap, and I knew she was here. That's how well I know Jenny. I'm everywhere. You guys will learn that. Well, some already have. But I'm everywhere. I got my eyes everywhere, and I got my ears everywhere. And I'm pretty attentive, you might say. I pay attention to things. That's what's got me here. That's what's got me this far. Cypher says, hello and good morning, visionaries. Hello, Cypher. There you go, Letha. Letha gifted the membership. Very nice. Very nice. Letha is officially a redneck. She's always been a redneck. Letha was an OG redneck. She was a redneck before rednecks were rednecks. She's a beauty. Look at this. Mambo Jambo 36. What's up? What happened to the Nostr chat? I don't know, man or woman. But that's it. I tried reaching out to Kieran himself, the man. Let's see if he got back to us yet. Expect lightning fast service from the lightning stream. Zuzan. Sue, also known as Zuzan. Good morning. Okay, what do we got here? Grinder. Grinder says, I thought it was only me who didn't see any streams on Zapstream, though. You can still go live and share your stream. Just nothing shows on the homepage, but the direct links work and the Nostr apps are outputting the streams, just not Zapstream. So how the hell do I do that? How the heck do I do that, Grinder? Zapstream. Yes, where are we? There's a lot of shows on there now, but not this one. Let's try maybe reconnecting and remove. Let's try that. Remove. We'll remove Bongo. Remember our Bongo from yesterday? Remove Bongo. Bye-bye, Bongo. Okay, now let's edit this. Bring back Bongo. Try it now. There are people who are live. I'm watching it on there. We'll see if it works. Anyways, good morning. Good morning, Zuzan. Zuzan, one of the new members in the Visionaries community. Kale Ty says, hola from Madrid. Hola, good morning. No, it's still not working. Frick. Wonder what I could do. We can maybe play around here a little bit. I wonder if I should try show. We'll see. Joshua says, beauty meetup in Saga last night, Mississauga, with the legendary Pauly D and Mark. Wow, look at that. The boys. We got an image here. Yes. Yes. Let's see it. Anyways, welcome to the Rumbles there, Mambo Jambo. It's a good name. I like that one. Are you have you subscribed to the Rumble channel? I get a notification when people subscribe. And it looks like I don't know if I've ever seen you on Rumble before. So make sure, if you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe to the Rumble. It helps. Rumble's holding things down here, man. I'm a Rumble Rumble maxi. Okay, what was I trying to do here? Oh yeah, okay. Look at this frickin' song. I know Pauly D and probably Mark too. Maybe Josh will like this tune. Betty Davis Eyes. It's a good tune. It's a good tune. There might be some other people in the chat who are a fan of Kim Carnes, Betty Davis Eyes. Okay, where was that? Where's that link, Joshua? Oh, look at this. The boys. The boys. Oh my God, this is good. Look at this. Oh man, if that doesn't make you happy, I don't know who you are and what you're doing here. So there's Joshua on the left. There's Mark, 6'5" Sats. He's a tall fella. Pauly D, the man himself. Looks like he's eating a chicken wing. And some who's the bigger legend here? The one in the back or the guys in the front? I don't know. But what kind of chicken wing you munching on there, Pauly D? Oh, that makes me happy. That makes me so freaking happy. That's awesome. Looks like a cool place. Springer, Brady, Matthews, Jordan, MJ himself. Cool. There's Duncan. LITF Bailey is in the house. 21 Hats says, is there a hangout in Bitcoin Citadel? I don't think so. I don't think there is today. We'll come up with something for that. I don't really know what it's going to be yet. But like I mentioned, we're going to start doing a hangout on the Visionaries community for everybody, not just for premium members. So for everybody who's in there, it's going to be kind of like a welcome. I'm going to, just because we have so many people joining right now, we have so many, there's probably like 5 to 10 people joining every day right now, which is about 50 people a week, which I just want to kind of do a meetup every week for a while anyways, until maybe it slows down. I think it'll actually ramp up eventually. It's amazing that things are kind of growing right now in such a boring time in Bitcoin. Like there was a post yesterday that said we're at the lowest point for like Bitcoin searches in the last 12 months right now. So it's just like it's really cool to me that we're still growing here during that. So I can't even imagine what it's going to look like when people are interested again. But if people knew what we know, they would be here. They would be excited. And that's part of what we're going to talk about today. So we're going to start doing a weekly hangout in the Visionaries community just for like 15, 30 minutes. I won't be able to do it longer than that. It'll just be kind of like a welcome. And if there's anybody who has any questions, ideas, topics, whatever, we'll go with that. Got to get a song about your travels to the Bitcoin servers out there. Yeah, did you find them, Scotty? Did you ever find the servers? When Josh springs for wings, you know it's a great night with Bitcoiners. Oh, so Josh must have got some wings for the boys. That's maybe that looks like a bigger than a wing, man. That looks like a freaking pterodactyl wing. Praetorian says, also, I'll be getting a hold of you this evening. Nice. Through email or what, Praetorian? Wasn't Scotty, boy. Sharon said, I sent you zaps this morning. Zaps, plural. Okay. To Lucky or what? Well, we had one from Sharon B, it looks like, about an hour ago. We had a one from Jenny, it looks like, about 25 minutes ago. And we got one from Joshua, the man himself, the king. He said, Luxter, cloth rice to get the Noster feedback, pal. Yeah, come on, Lux. Help the boys out. So I got another point for Joshua. So I'm going to assume that was Sharon B then. Sharon B. We're going to give credit to that one. Unless she said Zap. So she sent one to Lucky, and I think she sent one to the Jor at Rizful. So thank you, Sharon B. Mucho. You remember my new number is 7. I did. I told you. LG, I haven't been too active in Jerry's chat lately because I've been doing stuff at night. I usually do. Some days I'm a little more chatty than other nights, but I've been listening. I've been watching. Look at this guy. LG, life is good. Hi from Argentina, 0.5 here. Nice. What do we call that? Half coiner. If we talk about all the time here how rare whole coiners are going to be, if people only knew how rare half coiners would be. It is mathematically, listen to this one. It is mathematically impossible for every millionaire on this planet to own half a Bitcoin. Let that sink in. Let that sink in, please. There's mathematically not enough Bitcoin for all the millionaires. So there's a bunch of people out there right now living in the fiat system. They think that they're doing pretty well. And, they are. You got to give them some credit for getting to $1 million, a millionaire. There's like 63 million millionaires, I think, on paper anyways. There's probably more on paper. So mathematically speaking, it is impossible for all the millionaires out there right now to get half a Bitcoin, half coin. And we're going to spend some time talking about the way that people should be thinking about this, because we shouldn't be thinking in Bitcoin terms. We should be thinking in sats terms. And what I really think that everybody should be striving for, if you want to get to like a millionaire status, you could do some very simple math there. You take 63 divided by 21, 63 million millionaires, 21 million Bitcoin. That's 3. You divide 1 by 3, you get 0.33. And that's like best case. That's not including the coins that have been bought by strategy that will never move. That doesn't include the coins that have been lost and might never move. That doesn't include the coins that are being mined and accumulated by countries around the world and pension funds and BlackRock's clients, BlackRock themselves, Saylor himself, me, you. Best case scenario, which will never happen, a millionaire can get 0.3 of a Bitcoin, 0.33 of a Bitcoin. And the crazy thing is that when you think about it that way, every time Michael Saylor and Strategy buy one Bitcoin, which they buy thousands every week, they take out 3 millionaires because of that math that I just explained there. So every one Bitcoin that Strategy buys and puts into its long-term storage, that wipes out 3 millionaires from being able to own one whole coin. So if you want to get like the bare minimum, I guess you'd call it. It won't be the minimum though, but it's a good way to think about it, I guess, as a mental model. Get to 0.3 of a Bitcoin, 30 million Satoshis. You can get that for about 25,000 USD maybe today, maybe even less than that. And if you don't have that right now, you should be working towards that. And kind of based on that, like that's going to be plenty. But if you want to be like one-to-one best case with a millionaire in terms of like status and purchasing power and, you know, the life of a millionaire, 0.3 of a Bitcoin. I think it's going to be way less than that. And the longer timeline you have, the less that's going to be required. I would be surprised if most millionaires, the average millionaire is probably going to get like 0.1 of a Bitcoin maximum. Maximum. Because you also have to remember this too, is that millionaires don't have like a lot of free cash flow. They don't just have $1 million sitting in the bank. They maybe have some real estate. They probably have a lot in the S&P. So they have to cash that out and buy Bitcoin. So first of all, they need to figure out that they should be doing that, which takes hundreds of hours. And then they have to go through the process of converting that real estate, S&P, whatever else they hold, into Bitcoin. Highly unlikely. Very long before that happens, before most realize that that's going to be the need for it. And by the time they realize, it's going to be too late. So the millionaires are going to be the people who are most affected by Bitcoin in a negative way. Some millionaires out there, they've understood Bitcoin. They have a lot of Bitcoin. They're going to flourish because they had a lot of value that they put into Bitcoin. But the millionaires who ignore Bitcoin, they're going to be the ones who are hurt the most by Bitcoin. Because they're going to go from this life of lavish and being able to buy whatever they want and all this influence to like somebody in the chat here is going to be more wealthy than them. Most people in the chat here are going to be more wealthy than them. The billionaires, they'll be fine. Billionaires can adopt Bitcoin whenever the hell they want. You got $1 billion, you're never going to have to worry about anything ever again. You could probably wait 50 years to adopt Bitcoin and you'd still be fine. But millionaires, they're going to be the ones who are affected the most by this transition. And it's kind of exciting, honestly. I think. Scotty says, I have nothing useful to say. Does that count? Cypher says, you're exactly right, Jordan. My busy schedule at work doesn't allow me to participate, but most days I'm listening in the background, usually here in spirit. I figured that. And that's fine. That's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. I use Cypher's app for my presumed absence over the past few weeks. Zap coming your way. Like in addition to the DCA? No. You don't need to do that, Cypher. Ian E is here. Says, good morning, Jordan. Lovely people. 1 million still on sale. Keep stacking. I'm working, but stream is on the background. Heckin' right, Ian. Good to see you this morning, man. Great to see you. As always. As always. Mega General says, I just got done arguing with an anti-Bitcoin guy on a silver channel. I keep saying Bitcoin and silver are good investments. Well, I mean, silver is better than fiat, yes. Silver is better than fiat, but silver doesn't come close to Bitcoin. But the other thing too, Mega, is like, I don't know, man. It takes a lot, which is weird. You know, it's really weird to me because the instances in the conversations I've had with like gold bugs who don't like Bitcoin, it's almost impossible. It's really not even worth your time to argue with them or to spend your energy arguing because they're just stubborn. They're arrogant and stubborn. That's what they are. And really, to me, it's like if you've found precious metals, you've found the need for precious metals, you've already lost trust in the system, Bitcoin should be right up your alley. And that's how I got to Bitcoin. I went through the silver, gold, route, crypto route, and then eventually found Bitcoin. But there's just guys, man, like the gold bugs who are 50, 60, 70 years old. They're just really stubborn. They're stubborn. They've had a very pessimistic view of the world for a very long time, which is why they hold gold and silver. And so they have very hard heads. And it's really not worth your time. Because they're not going to understand Bitcoin. They're just not. So it's fine. Like Bitcoin and silver are good investments. Yeah. But like silver has nothing on Bitcoin. Nothing. But they'll never get there. They just won't. They'll die before they figure that out, and that's okay. Their kids will own a bunch of pet rocks, and they'll eventually have to convert that to Bitcoin, and they'll be pissed. But nothing you can do. Nothing you can do. Kev Keith is here. Everybody's lurking today. Everybody's lurking in the background. Good to see you. Frumble says she's the original redneck. Yes, she is. Did you ever play the redneck song on the stream? I think so. You were gone, though, Scotty boy. Philly's here. Philly AZ. I like that logo. Camo. Good morning, Jordan. 88 Sats gang. Good morning. Plebinator. Okay, so this explains a lot, because I thought that Plebinator was really potentially a bot, because he comes up with some wild shit some days. Some days it makes sense. Like he seems like a normal guy or girl. But that's it. But this makes sense. If he's on the dopes in the morning, then sometimes he's going to say some crazy things that don't make a whole lot of sense to people who aren't on the dopes. Good to see you, Plebinator. Can you give a shout out to my Uncle Lou Skunt? Wow, I did not see that one coming. That really came out of left field for me. Oh, man. AK, I'm not gonna lie, you kind of annoyed me yesterday, but you made up for it there. You gave me a laugh, and laughs are invaluable. So I've never heard that one before. I've heard of Mike Sass and a few other ones, but I've never heard of Lou Skunt. That's good. That's a good one. You got me. Zuzan says, I'm happy to be here, but if you got an Uncle Lou and he bought $50 of Bitcoin, then shout out to Lou. But I got a sneaky suspicion that's not a real thing. Zuzan with a nice comment here. I'm happy to be here with everyone. It inspires me, and it's great to be in this community. We're happy to have you. We're just collecting good people. That's what the community is. We're collecting good people. Love Betty Davis Eyes, 1981. Betty Laser Eyes. Love that one. Whoa, Mega swinging. Look at this guy. Mega General. I own 1,900 shares of Strategy. Really? That's too many shares. Unless you have dozens of Bitcoin in cold storage, that's too many shares. Way too many shares. My opinion. But look at that. Is that your cat, Mega? Mega's got 1,900 shares, and he has a... Oh, that actually is a cat. I thought that was like a cougar. I thought Mega owned 1,900 shares of Strategy, and he had like a pet cougar. But that actually looks like... I think that's actually a cat. House cat. Man, we're having a good show today. Rather meet the legends in front of that pick. Yes, agree, Lauren. Me too. Yeah, Josh had the what was it? The Scarce by Design hat there. The creation of 21 hats. Was it? Yeah, Scarce by Design. Great, great hat. You need to check Bitcoin server searches, not just Bitcoin. Those are up massively. Josh says, Jake, send me some business cards if you have them when you ship my maple hat. I'll pass them out at our meetups and get you some liberal Ontario traffic. Did you get a zap from me? If not, Jerry just got lucky. Oh, sorry, Scotty. I haven't checked the zaps. Had a guy comment on the hat last night, so interest will peak with the maple hat. I can't wait for that one. I'm looking forward to it. Mike is here. Micah. Good morning. On the road, listening in the background. Everybody's listening in the background today. I could be wearing a freaking Ronald Reagan mask right now, and people would just think that the show is normal today. But it is good. AI says you need 0.67 of a Bitcoin to be a millionaire by 2030. That actually sounds accurate to me. I think that's actually high in terms of the math in my head and what I think is going to happen over these next couple of years. But I think that's probably like a conservative guess. Jenny's still working on her millie. AK said there are approximately 2,500 first appearance of Spider-Man on the planet. What? There are approximately 2,500 first appearances of Spider-Man on the planet. Oh, so the comic book, you mean? 1940s, Amazing Fantasy, Indivisible. I mean, Indivisible doesn't matter, right? We know that. Actually, we're going to talk about that today. Indivisible doesn't matter. We have to understand that. Indivisible doesn't matter. Because even if you divide something, there's no more of it. If you divide something, there doesn't mean there's more of it, right? What do you think of it as an investment versus Bitcoin due to rarity? I mean, it's a good question. This is a really good question. But here's my thing. Like I'm a collector too. I've always been a collector. That was my favorite thing. Actually, I made a lot of money on collectibles during the COVID crash. I bought a LeBron James card for like $2,000, I think, and I sold it for like $7,000 like a year later. So I get it. Like I've always been if you saw my basement and how many cards I have down there, you'd understand. I've actually sold a lot of them though, because they don't really stack up for me against Bitcoin. If I was a huge Spider-Man fan, maybe. If I was a huge Spider-Man fan, like this picture of Tiger Woods behind me, it's pretty valuable. It's one of 50, I think. It's from like 2001 in Tiger's prime, and it's signed by Tiger, and it's verified. It's upper deck. It's legitimate. But I love Tiger. He's my guy. If I didn't like Tiger Woods, I would definitely sell that for Bitcoin. So it really depends. Like that's kind of what I've shifted my collection to. I used to do it like more speculative, but now I only buy things if I really like them, like Tiger Woods. And really that's it. I might have some Michael Jordan stuff, some Kobe Bryant stuff. Derek Jeter, I've always liked. Wayne Gretzky, Mario. I have a couple of Connor McDavid cards that are pretty valuable. Sidney Crosby. But I only buy them if I like the athlete, right? That man, there's a lot. I could probably do a full show on this. It's actually a good idea. I might do a full show on this because there's so many components to it. Because there's like your interest in it, how much you like it. There's a difference between like Spider-Man versus Connor McDavid, because Spider-Man can't really break his leg and devalue the card. There's factors like the legitimacy of it. There's factors of like, you could have it in a house, you can have it in one location, and something happens to that location and it's gone. There's a lot of different things here that you have to factor in. And when you really look at it from a high view, like a macro lens, Bitcoin just makes way more sense than collectible stuff like this. But again, I mean, it's different. If you got, if you're a big Spider-Man fan, if you got a safe that's fireproof, that's the other thing too, is like it can be stolen. You have no way to geographically disperse a comic book. You can't send it. It's not very liquid, right? Like you got to find a buyer for it, which you probably wouldn't have an issue with it, but you might. You got to find a buyer. You got to trust somebody else, a third party, to facilitate that trade, or you're going to meet up with them in person. You got to verify yourself. There's just so many issues with it. And I think that as we kind of go forward, I don't know. I have so many thoughts on this. I have so many thoughts, and I actually want to do a full show on this because it is really interesting to me. It's an interesting topic. Josh says, I say back off the leaderboard, Jenny, then you'll have your millie. This is a good idea. Good idea for Josh. Wants his throne back. Speaking of that, Scotty boy, I got to check on your zap here. Sin would be laughing. Sin and his wife would be laughing. We keep getting squirreled off here. We're squirreling a little bit today. Not bad, though. We're not bad. Oh, you know what? There's another guy, and I just see this now. Hold on. What's this? Letha. Okay, Letha said, good morning, Jor. She sent a double shot of espresso. So thank you, Letha, very much. She said, got my custom wallet of Satoshi address. Nice. What is it? What is it, Letha? Is it Letha at walletSatoshi.com? Or is it Icon at walletSatoshi.com? Is it Frumble at walletSatoshi.com? What is it? Now I have to figure out how to connect it to Nostr. So very easy to do, Letha. You're just going to go into your... So two things to think about here. I know it's kind of hard to explain with words. It's easier to like see it. So actually, we can do it. We can show it. Because this will be for Letha and for anybody else who's trying to navigate Nostr. Well, we'll do this. So you got your Nostr client, right? You got your Nostr client. You might use Damus. You might use Primal. You might use Wisp. You might use Yakioni. Any one of these. Okay. So for receiving zaps, it's pretty standard. You basically go into the settings on the app. You go to edit profile. You look for the Bitcoin Lightning address spot, Bitcoin Lightning address, or Bitcoin receive address, something like that. But it's pretty much standard for every Nostr client that's how you change the address for receiving zaps. But it's a little bit different for sending zaps. Not standard. Unique to each client pretty much. Right, so Primal has a wallet built in to it. Some of them have Nostr Wallet Connect, NWC it's called, where you have to set it up separately. Yakioni actually allows you to, whenever you go to send a zap, it actually prompts you to choose which wallet that you want to send it from. Right, so if I wanted to, if Letha made a post on Nostr that I wanted to zap, like send her sats, and I was using Yakioni, I would click it. It would bring up a screen that prompts me to select a Lightning wallet based on the Lightning wallets that I have in my phone. And then I could choose that. And then that's where the zaps are going to come out of. So that's why it's unique for every different client. But for receiving zaps, which I think that you're talking about here, Letha, it'll be the same. You got to go into your settings, edit your profile, Bitcoin Lightning address, and then you can just paste your new wallet of Satoshi in there. And if you want to give it a shot while we're live here, we can test it out for you. There it is. Oh, Letha. That was a mistake. That was a mistake. Letha's going to get some actually, Letha, maybe go ahead and do that on your Noster. Like, see if you can go do that right now. See if you can go update your profile so that it's your Letha at Walda Satoshi address. And then we'll try to zap you on Noster just to make sure it's working. But in the meantime, we're also going to send Letha some action to her Walda Satoshi. Letha at waldasatoshi.com. There we go. Letha's new wallet. Love that. Everybody here should have a custom Walda Satoshi address. There you go. We're sending sent. Payment sent. Oh, just doxed myself. Whoa, 20 Bitcoin in here? 20,000 Bitcoin in here? Wow. I'm doing better than I thought. I'm doing better than I thought. Okay, sorry, I skipped a couple comments here. Marco's here. Good morning, Marco. Cheers, brother. Where'd that frickin' guy go? Lou, AK. AK, you got me good there, man. You got me good. Kryptoni. I was going to say Crypto Tony, but it's Kryptoni. Shout out to Kryptoni. Member on the channel here. Although you got to change that to Bitcoin. Bittony. Bittony. You got to change that. We're going to request it here live on the show. Okay, my frick. I still didn't look at Scotty's app. Sorry, Scotty. You know, some days you just got a lot going on. You got a lot going on in your head. You got a lot going on in your life. You got a lot going on in your surroundings. The phone's dying. And I need it for today because we got our men's league tonight. It's rainy, it's windy here, and we're actually playing a course because the course that we usually play is rained out. And so we're playing a course down the road, and it has almost no trees. So I would honestly rather golf in rain than wind, and it is going to be bananas. Maybe I'll take a video today and send it to the Signal chat or the school community. Okay, we got a couple here to report. We got Cypher DCA. Who's this? This is a big one. Ooh, Chuck. Chuck with a double shot. Chuck says, awesome new logo. Double shot from Chuck. And that is also a Live Freeze app, a big Live Freeze app. Thank you, Chuck. Very much. Chuck with a Membi and a zap today, a big zap. Thank you, Chuck. Chuck will be in the running today. Scotty boy, look at this one. Scotty back in the house and feeling good. He says the boy is back in town. The boy is back in town with 3 exclamation marks. He's happy to be home, no doubt. And he sent a double Scotty zap, a double shot of espresso, -1. Double shot, -1 sat. I think you guys can do the math on that. Thank you, Scotty boy. What's this one? Is this from Duncan? Yes, Duncan. Wow, we got the D, we got the C. Maybe we'll have a miracle. Maybe Alex will show up today. We got the Duncan 3741. Ooh, one lower than Cypher's. So that means that Bitcoin's gone up since Cypher's zapped it. And we got another one here. Who's this? Welcome back, Sharon from Nico. And that's a Sharon zap. Holy Hannah. Thank you, Nico. I saw Nico yesterday with some nice shark glasses on. Though that was in Signal. I can't bring it up. That freaking made me laugh. Nico with shark glasses on with a big smile on his face. And here's a Cypher zap. Cypher Zap of 8998. That was the OG Cypher Zap. Says Cypher Zap. Cheers, bud. Cheers, Cypher. Thanks, buddy. That's two big zaps today. Oh, Conrad. Conrad said, "Hey, Jor, Mambo Jambo 36. It's me, Conrad." Thank you, Conrad. Oh, you're all caught up there. Anyways, Kryptoni. Sorry, buddy. I told you to change your name, and then I ignored you for 5 minutes. So we're all caught up now. Man, the chat's berserk today. Kryptoni says, "Please explain this to my father. He bought Bitcoin through a bank last cycle, freaked out because he bought the top. Now he won't touch Bitcoin with a 21-foot pole." Well, actually, Kryptoni, tell him to watch. I'm actually going to do a little segment here in about 10 minutes once we get through the comments here. For people like your dad. For people like your dad. So maybe it'll work. I want to keep it as short as possible so people actually watch it, but we'll see. We'll see. Uncle Lou, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's the other one. Shout out to Mike Hunt. Kachok says, saddest thing about orange pilling people is by the time you're proven right, it's too late to get in. I know. And usually what happens is people want to buy when it's going up, and you're like, okay, give her hell. Here's how to do it. Here's where to send it. Here's how to store it. But you don't tell them you got to sit on that for 10 years. Don't look at it for 10 years. But then they're like, oh my God, my investment dropped from $500 to $350. Bitcoin sucks. That's life, though. That's why, you just kind of just stop. It's like if people want to buy, they can come and ask you, but it just doesn't really make any sense to it doesn't make any sense to push it on people. It's never a good idea. Anything in life, honestly, like that's one of the best lessons that I ever learned was you never push. You never push. You pull. And people can kind of take that how they want to, but you never push it. It's kind of our instinct to push things on people, whatever it is. You pull. You never push. You always pull. You never push like that. Never push with an X. You always pull, like a dove. Dove flying away. Whew. Never push. Always pull. So how do you pull? That's a good question. Well, you lead by example. When you're with people, a lot of people are down in the dumps. They're on their phone. They're doom scrolling. You gotta lead by example. You gotta show people that your life, because you're living in Bitcoin, is much different than somebody who's not. Somebody's complaining about groceries. Yeah, I know it sucks. You don't really need to tell. I mean, you can mention it. Yeah, it's like because they won't stop printing money, but you just say, "Yeah, I know, it sucks." But it sucks. It's awful. But you can't ever be the one who brings it up to people. You never push, only pull. Same as getting people into Bitcoin. You got to lead by example. Lead by example. Sharon said you could also have no pants on, Jor, and no one would know. That's for my OnlyFans, Sharon. My only sats. Not sure he owns pants, Sharon. I don't freaking pants. What are you talking about, you crazy bastards? I live in freaking Manitoba. It's like, it's still not summer here. We got snow for like 7 months a year. If I didn't have pants, I would have been dead 35 years ago. I got pants. I got long johns. I'm going to probably be wearing long johns tonight. I probably have more long johns than people have pants. For real. For real. AK said, I put about 20% of my life savings into strategy a year and a half ago based on the logic each share will go up number of sats and eventually go to 10, 20, 30%. Yeah. You're onto something there. What is this? Sharon B. I have Kobe's rookie card. I used it for a bookmark. What? No. Is it at least like protected? I had a Tiger Woods rookie card behind me. I might have put it away though. I might have put it in the safe where it belongs. Although that's the other thing too for me. It's like people have these collectibles and you kind of can do one of two things with them. You can either display them, but then you run the risk of like wear and tear, people touching it, being in a book, light distorting the color on it. But you can put it in a safe. You'll never get to enjoy it. So it's like, I don't know. 21 Hat says, need some Larry Bird collectibles. Larry Bird. You know, I never really paid attention much to Larry Bird until Jake's always talking about him. But I recently watched The Last Dance with the Michael Jordan documentary. And Larry Bird, man, he sure does not fit into the NBA. Maybe that's why they called him the Hick. But still got my 90s Pokemon cards. Wow. Swap those for biddies. Swap those for sats. You'll have to end up opening a store for that buyer. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Scotty Boy says, fun fact, 16th of May tomorrow for me will be 1 year since my first Zap, which was sent to Jor. Wow. So what are you going to send tomorrow? Oh, Scotty says, to celebrate that, Jor's sending all the sats back. Wow, somebody just sent this is a new Zap. 6900. Who sent that? I like that one. Whoever sent that is going to get that Zap named after them. They sent it to Arnie Boy. Who is that? Jake says, I'm irritated with my wallet Satoshi address. Apparently, I wasn't the first of my name to get the custom address. Really? You tried getting Jake? Is there more at the end of Wallet Satoshi? Rizful doesn't like that. It's walletsatoshi.com. Letha zapping. Letha said, I had that address before they banned the wallet in the US. I'm surprised I got it back. Wow. I changed the address in Noster and thank you for the sats. Okay. Let's try this out here for Letha. We got to find Letha on the Nosters. We have for time here. We're all right. Letha. Top of the list, Letha. It's not showing up in here, but I don't know if it does in Yakioni. So I'm going to send this from, let's see if it works. It appears to be. I don't think it would let me. Yep, worked. There you go, Letha. So you're all set up. Although I don't know if it went to your wallet's Satoshi address, so it doesn't say. It doesn't say. So you'll have to let me know. But I'm guessing some other people tried it. Jen zapping, Nico zapping, Scotty zapping. Peacemaker says, congratulations to you, Mr. Jor. On what? Why am I getting congratulated? Just for being alive still? I guess. Made it this far somehow. Mike. Mike says, good evening from Germany. Good morning, Mike. Eatable Zebra Stripe says, hope everyone is having a good day. We got a lot of people actually from Germany. Back to reality from the beach. Shit. Someone says, sent sats from Ireland. Wow, thank you. I love Ireland too. The Icons wall is blowing up. I love it. Who's the? You're such a cunning linguistic. Who's the? Who's the? Who would be the? I'm just looking at names here. Who did Zuzan try to send that to? I don't know. There we go. Okay, we got her. Buck 52 sold the Jordan rookie for Sats. Ooh, I don't know if I could have done that one. That's a bold move, but you got to remember that probably in 10 years from now, you're going to be able to buy like 10 Jordans for the same amount. So I understand it. I understand it. I've sold a lot of things that you say you regret. Not protected. I didn't know how valuable it would be. Sharon B, you're freaking kidding me. You're kidding me. Okay, let's watch a couple take a peek at this. Hey Polly, was that you that sent the 69er? Was that you? That seems like a Polly D zap. Oh yeah, let's check this out. And then we're gonna do the frickin' thing that we tried to do yesterday, and we got caught up. We got caught in the weeds yesterday. We were buzzing right along, cutting through the waves, and then we got hung up in the weeds. Man, we got 45 people on Rumble and 16 thumbs up. What are we doing? We gotta be better than that. We have to. Oh yes, check this out. So Paulie says the music video I created with Kling on PPQ. Love that. Love that. I'll post it on YouTube. The whole thing cost 100 US. Wow. Okay, let's check it out. And we'll see. Let's see if it was money well spent or a waste. Let's watch some of it. Wait, that's AI? This is AI? Or is that footage you took, Paulie? Flashlight in the mouth. What the heck? Was that on purpose? I like that. That's a vet move. Wow, that is insane. That is freaking insane. Oh, I gotta turn this off. We're gonna go into freaking Inception here. Wow, that was so freaking cool. So Paulie made that video for a song of his using AI, using Kling, cost about $200. And Paulie, let me know here, if you were to do it again tomorrow, if you're gonna start the whole thing tomorrow, what would it cost? Would it be $200, or was that kinda like part of the learning, aspect of it? 'Cause I'm guessing you didn't just do, like, one take and that was it. Like, I played around with AI. Usually, you have to do, like, 3 or 4 different prompts before you get what you want. So if you were to do it again, it would probably cost less, right? That was cool, though, really cool. That seems like a Halloween video, but, uh, really cool, and I liked the oh, there's no sound? Shit. Damn it. I was liking it. I was into the music. Well, let me take that link. Shit. Sorry, Paul. It's because I had it on full screen. I had the Excel sheet on full screen. Sorry, buddy. That's my bad. But I'll share this for anybody who wants to watch in YouTube. And Scott and Paulie left the link in Rumble there. That was really cool, man. That was probably a lot of like, I mean, it probably would have taken a lot of time, but that would have been such a cool thing to work through. Yeah, there's a song there. Sorry, frickin' Paulie. Sorry, man. That's my bad. My bad, my bad, my bad. Okay. So I got to so that was real footage. Okay, I thought so. I was gonna say, if that's AI, that was very impressive, but, either way, really, really cool, man. I'm gonna have to watch the full video after the show here. But yeah, check that out because Paulie's got the song was actually really good for anybody who likes like metal music. I'm not a huge metal fan myself, but it was a good song. We need to do one of those for the Visionaries song, Scotty. Maybe now that you're back home with a lot of free time, we can get that done. What do you think? Okay, so I'm gonna do this because we're freaking hour and a half into it. I tried to do this yesterday, but we're gonna do it today. So how can I do this here? I'm gonna take this tab separate. I got an itchy eye. I got an itchy eye. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna put on a little video here for. I'm gonna put on a little video here. I gotta go get some water for this because I realized I forgot to grab my water bottle. But I'll put on what should I put on here? I need some more videos here. We'll put on James Check. Love this video.
There's two things that keep me bullish no matter what's going on. One, it's a 10x, more than a 10x improvement over its predecessor. I'm a gold holder and I'm a Bitcoin holder. And I can tell you, having used both, Bitcoin's better in every single way. Every single way. History shows that technology, as it evolves and we head to those 10x multiples, it takes over. And the second thing is, look at the quality of people who are Bitcoiners. Look at the diversity of their backgrounds. I'm a tunnel engineer. There's people who are doctors. There's people come from all these like fascinating, interesting backgrounds, and they've all converged on the same thing, being like Bitcoin's like the best thing since sliced bread. You're telling me that all of these smart INTJ engineer types, they're all dumb and idiots? Like, no. The most bullish thing about Bitcoin is the people who get attracted to it. I'm not betting against those people. So many Bitcoiners came up and grew up in an era where the world hated Bitcoin. Every headline was negative. Every government didn't like it. It's getting banned. It's getting shut down. And yet we still formed enough conviction to be like, no way. I'm putting my whole life savings in this thing. We all formed a consensus that this thing kicks ass independently, whilst everyone was telling us that we were dead wrong, and we stuck to our guns. I'm sorry, I'm not betting against those people. They get it.
Oh, there we go. There we go. I just proved that I had pants on. I just proved it to you. Okay, we're back. So let's get to her. Nothing to her but to do her. I'll catch up on the comments. I keep trying to catch up on. Okay, Polly says learning was a good portion of the first one. If text to video descriptions are planned consistent, it would cost less. That's kind of what I was thinking too. But I mean, $200. You know how much that would cost like before AI? How much? Like hundreds of thousands to film something like that? It's wild. Absolutely freaking wild. Well, I mean, Paulie D, you would know because you probably have been in the industry and have seen people pay for music videos like that. Okay, so we're going to get to this. I'm actually not going to get through the comments here because I keep doing that and then I just keep falling behind. So we're going to put the comments on hold for a second. I'm going to go through this. This is the presentation I was developing yesterday. It's actually not that long, but I want to do some talking on it. So we're 17 years into Bitcoin now, and it's really amazing to me how many people still don't have a clue what's going on here. And considering the people in the chat today who watch the channel, in the community, in the Visionaries community, Bitcoin has had such a profound impact on their life. It's really rewired everything about them. It almost changes every single cell in your body. And so that's kind of like where you're going to, but I think people really need a starting point. And a lot of people are held back from Bitcoin because they're looking at it the wrong way. And so I put together a little presentation here, I guess you'd call it. And it's called Rewiring the Mind for Hyper Bitcoinization. Rewiring the mind for hyper Bitcoinization. Because a lot of people believe that they need to buy one whole Bitcoin. And earlier in the show, I kind of talked about this. Somebody in the chat said that they, mistakenly, I'd say, because you're never supposed to tell anybody how much Bitcoin you have, because it's just going to come back and bite you in the ass at some point in your life. But they said they got a half coin, so 0.5 of Bitcoin. And most people would see that number and they'd be like, that's not much. That's nothing. Half a Bitcoin, 0.5. But that's how humans are wired. That's how the human mind is wired. You see 0.5 of something, and you're like, well, that doesn't mean much. But I kind of explained, like, I really wish people knew how rare 0.5 of a Bitcoin is. Half a Bitcoin. Also known as 50 million sats. The most important part there is 50 million sats. So a Satoshi, in every one Bitcoin, there's 100 million Satoshis. It's kind of like cents and dollars. 100 cents, $1. 100 million Satoshis, one Bitcoin. And you can infinitely divide it too. So at some point when there's enough people who are owning Bitcoin and holding Bitcoin, we're going to have to split that up even further, just like we do with land, right? You go from township to section, half section, quarter section, acre, lot. As more people show up, as demand goes up with the same amount of supply, you have to keep further dividing the units. So that's the cool thing about Bitcoin is that you can do that. So half a Bitcoin, when you think about mathematically here, and I really like math because it's objective. And so you look at the data and you see there's 63 million millionaires in the world right now, which is probably understated because that's like known millionaires. There's probably a lot more than that, but let's just go with 63 million because it actually works out really well. So 63 million millionaires, that means that mathematically, every millionaire, best case scenario right now, would not be able to own 0.5 of a Bitcoin or 50 million sats. Mathematically, the 63 million millionaires won't be able to own 0.5 of Bitcoin. So there's a lot of millionaires out there right now who will never have half a Bitcoin. And so when you start thinking about it through that lens, and it's crazy to me how many people do not understand, not even don't understand it. They don't know what Bitcoin is. There's a conversation here last week. Somebody thought that Bitcoin, when I told them I was in Bitcoin, they thought that has something to do with sports betting. Oh, so you like do sports betting. That's where we are right now. And I really think that it's been intentional because there's a lot of centralized entities out there, whether that's a central bank, a government. A lot of these organizations and entities don't want Bitcoin to succeed, but they can't stop it. And so what they have to do is they have to distract people and they have to lie to people about it. And so you constantly see these narratives in Bitcoin Like it's bad for the environment. Jeffrey Epstein funded it. Quantum computers are going to hack it. You see all this stuff, and that's really their only tool against Bitcoin because they cannot stop it. It's so powerful at this point that nobody can stop it. And that's a really important piece to understand, but we're going to be looking at this through a slightly different lens here. So these are going to be 4 mental models for the future of value. And that's how you should be thinking about this. It's a way to store value. It's a way to store value that nobody can debase, nobody can print more Bitcoin and make yours worth less like they do with dollars. Every dollar that's printed makes your dollars, whatever you have, worth less, which happens every second of every day. So Bitcoin stores value without anybody being able to steal from you, steal your time, steal your energy, steal your value. Nobody can steal it from you. If you have it secured properly, nobody can take it from you. And that's actually a huge selling point for Bitcoin, is how you can properly protect your Bitcoin that you can do with no other asset. So this is going to be upgrading the sovereign mind to master absolute scarcity. And that's the other thing too. That's the other component of this, is that most people who know what Bitcoin is, they know that there's only 21 million Bitcoin, or what we're going to be talking about here, 2.1 quadrillion Satoshis. So most people know that, but we haven't really felt that. There's a difference between knowing something and feeling something. We haven't gone through the absolute scarcity part of this thing yet, just because there's not enough people, there's not enough demand for Bitcoin yet. But that doesn't mean there's not going to be. So we're going to get to a point here where we feel the scarcity, when there's way more people who want Bitcoin and there's not enough Bitcoin for everybody. Mathematically, again, mathematically. So let's get to the second one here. So human minds are conditioned by elastic and expanding systems. That's the system that we grew up in. Ever since we were little kids, we went to school and nobody really taught us what money is. Nobody told us that there's a small group of people out there who have the ability to change the supply, to essentially create more units for themselves while making everybody else poorer. It's a crazy concept, but that's the system that we've grown up in. And so we kind of see it as normal. So that's the fiat baseline. So the friction point here, and this is what a lot of people struggle with, because adopting absolute scarcity requires something that most people aren't willing to do: unlearn. And there's a quote I heard recently where it said the people who are going to succeed in this new system, this new economy, are the people who can unlearn and relearn the fastest. So that's kind of the first step, is that you have to unlearn. And that's what the thumbnail today, it says, un-F your mind, because you really have to start there. You have to basically forget everything that you've ever known, which is a very difficult task for most people. It's hard. Anybody who's been in Bitcoin knows how hard that is to do. It's not a real easy thing to just completely empty your mind, to assume that everything you've been taught and told throughout your life was a lie, and then move forward from there. Most people aren't willing to do that, but you have to if you want to understand Bitcoin. So the objective here is to master these new mental models. And the first one here is the $1 million penny stock. So there's actually a guy on Twitter yesterday, I forget his name, Cedric, I believe. He had a post talking about something that I've been talking about for years now, which is that the day that everybody is going to want Bitcoin is when Bitcoin hits $1 million. So when Bitcoin hits $1 million, that's kind of like the breaking point in my mind. That's when Bitcoin becomes a penny stock. Because at that point, we're not going to be measuring things in Bitcoin. We're going to be measuring things in Satoshis. So when you look at like a ticker right now, whether it's on Bloomberg or CoinGecko or Yahoo Finance, you see the price of Bitcoin. And even all these analysts and experts in finance, they don't see this yet. And a lot of them they might not ever need to. Because when you talk to like the BlackRocks of the world and the super wealthy of the world, they're not really going to pay too much attention to Satoshis for a long time, because they have enough capital, they have enough value that they've already created in the existing system that they've transferred into Bitcoin. And so they're on a Bitcoin unit. But most people, if you switch your lens from Bitcoin to Satoshis, you can see how this plays out. So at some point in the future, when Bitcoin hits $1 million, just think about this logically. The tickers aren't going to show Bitcoin 1.001256 million. How many, think about it this way. How many tickers do you see with something that's worth $1 million? I can't think of any. Because usually when we think about like stocks, that's what most people are most familiar with. Think about a stock. When a stock price gets high enough that it's out of reach for people's minds, they do a stock split, which doesn't change the supply of the stocks. Or sorry, it changes the supply, but it doesn't change the value of it. So if they did a stock split from like a 10-to-1 stock split, that means that there's more stocks, but you still have the same amount of ownership. So the reason why they do stock splits is psychological. Because when you see a stock price and it's $5,000, you're like, well, I can't buy that. So you completely eliminate a lot of the market, because a lot of people can't afford $5,000 for one share. So they do a share split. And all of a sudden, that same share, the exact same company, it's now worth $500. So people are like, oh, that share is cheap. It's only $500. I can buy it now. I can maybe buy 2 of them. Whereas 5 minutes ago, before the stock split, or the day before that, they couldn't afford one share because $5,000 was out of their price range. And that's kind of how Bitcoin is right now. A lot of people see Bitcoin price being $80,000, and they're like, well, I don't have $80,000. I can't afford Bitcoin. But with this mental model here, it changes that. And so that's the psychological trap of the whole coiner fallacy. So that's what I was saying. Like, every millionaire on the planet right now isn't going to be able to mathematically afford half a Bitcoin. So for the average Joe out there, they shouldn't even need to come close to that in order to kind of like maintain their current status in the new system. You actually have the ability to get way ahead of millionaires right now if you can understand what I'm saying here. So let me show you this, because this is really, it says mass adoption at the bottom there. This is what it's going to look like here. So if we go up to this, I did some math here. And this is actually kind of inspired by Jerry's show last night in terms of like the math here. But if you look at the price of Bitcoin 10 years ago, this is where we're going to start. So 10 years ago, May 2016, you could have purchased one Bitcoin for $455. 10 years later, even being down 40% from our all-time high here in fiat terms, and that's why I put fiat USD exchange rate, because there's no price of Bitcoin. There's every country you go to, there's a different price because it's an exchange rate. You're trading your units of fiat, your dollars, for Bitcoin. You're trading your units of unlimited supply for units of absolute scarcity. You're trading your units of dollars that can be created out of thin air, require zero cost, zero energy. You're trading those for units of Satoshis, backed by energy, created by energy, with a perfectly scarce supply that costs real energy from the physical world to create. So they're much different things, but that's the exchange rate. That's why this has happened. That's why Bitcoin has gone from $455 to $80,000, because it's not even a comparison. One unit can be created out of thin air, zero cost. The people who are closest to the money printer benefit the most while everybody else suffers. Whereas Bitcoin, it's complete opposite of that. And that's why it's really so hard for people to understand what Bitcoin is, because it's so different than what we're used to. So that means that Bitcoin in the last 10 years has done 175 times. 175 times higher than it was 10 years ago. So if we fast forward now, we travel back in time to May 2016. Now let's travel forward to May 2036. And that projects Bitcoin, all other things being equal, that's what this means, all things equal, being 14 million. But again, if you understand just how few people actually know what Bitcoin is, understand Bitcoin, we haven't came anywhere near the sharp part of the adoption curve yet. So I think that this is kind of like the minimum 10 years from now, May 2036, $14 million Bitcoin. I think a lot of Bitcoiners would actually be fairly sad about that. But anyways, that's the best thing we can do. All things equal, 14 million, which means the Satoshis. So that's what we're going back to here, the Satoshis per dollar. So at this point, it was like you could have got 200,000 sats for $1. Ish, 200,000 sats for $1. Today, you can get about 1,200 sats for $1. And based on this, in 2036, you're going to get about 7 sats per dollar. But this is the most important part here, which means that it's going to cost you 14 cents for 1 sat. So when Bitcoin hits $1 million, and maybe I should put this in here, when BTC hits 1 million, that means that 1 sat is going to cost 1 cent. And that's when Bitcoin becomes a penny stock, because people are not going to see the $80,000, $500,000, $900,000. They're now going to see, wait, I can buy Bitcoin for 1 cent. And so that's when people are it's going to switch something in their minds, that they're going to see Bitcoin as being cheap, even though it's gone from 80,000 or what was it? $455. Even though it went from $455 to 1 million, people are going to see it as Bitcoin is now 1 cent, because we changed the unit. We went from Bitcoin to Satoshis. And that is going to happen because, again, those tickers are not going to show anything higher than $1 million. And it doesn't make sense to do it any time before that either, because then it would be like the price of sat would be like 0.098 of a cent, which also doesn't make sense in people's heads. So $1 million Bitcoin is the threshold. That's where everything changes in Bitcoin, because that's when we switch from Bitcoin to Satoshis. 1 sat equals 1 cent. And then the crazy thing here is that when BTC hits 1 sat equals 2 cents, this is the crazy thing. This is the part that I really want you to understand here. So when Bitcoin hits 1 sat equals 2 cents, so the cost of a Satoshi went from 1 cent to 2 cents. Do you know what happened in the background? BTC went from 1 million to 2 million. So this is where everything is going to change in Bitcoin. This is when everything changes in Bitcoin. You really have to understand that. If you understand nothing else what I talk about here in this whole thing, but if you can understand that, this is when a switch flips in people's heads, where Bitcoin all of a sudden becomes cheap. Obviously, it's going to be very expensive. It's going to be $1 million. The people who are watching this here in 2026 are going to be doing very well for themselves. But this is when the average person is going to see Bitcoin as affordable again. So then it goes from 1 sat to 1 sat equals 1 cent. All of a sudden, that 1 sat costs 2 cents, which isn't a huge jump. 1 cent to 2 cents, penny stock, not a big jump. But Bitcoin behind the scenes went from $1 million to $2 million. That is bananas. So for Bitcoin to move from $1 million to $14 million, the cost of a sat only has to go from 1 cent to 14 cents. Like, that's not going to take years to do. Right? Like, I think we'd all understand that if there was this really good investment and everybody was looking at it, everybody was talking about it, and it's 1 cent, you can get 1 sat for 1 cent. How long do you think it's going to go from 1 cent to 2 cents to 3 cents to 14 cents and just keep going up? Because now you have the whole world paying attention to it. Whereas a week ago, nobody was paying attention to it because they couldn't afford a $1 million Bitcoin. But all of a sudden this switches now, and it might not be a week. It's not like this is going to be a switch that flips and everybody's going to be interested suddenly. But over time, that's what's going to play out. So that's kind of like, it becomes a penny stock. So this is what the real thing you need to pay attention to here. This. So let's go back to our slide here, and that's what this is. That's when Bitcoin hits $1 million, it becomes a penny stock. Everything changes in people's minds, and then it's not going to take very long for it to go from 1 sat equals 1 cent to 1 sat equals 50 cents. Right? Because that's what penny stocks do. They just, everybody's interested. Everybody can buy it now. It's affordable for people. But the crazy thing is, like, you can do that today. You can buy Satoshis today. You can buy $10 worth of Bitcoin today. That's going to get you about 12,000 sats in America for $10. And in this same realm here, that $10 that you spend should be worth exponentially more in the future, because those sats that you bought, 12,000 sats that you buy today, those are going to have way more purchasing power. They're going to be way more valuable in the future as people figure this out. So that's the first one. And this is how you should be looking at it. You should be reprogramming the perception of cheap. So at $1 million Bitcoin, 1 Satoshi reaches the exact parity with the US cent. So this is what people think right now. This is the perception that people have. Well, actually I think this is about $1,000 right now, isn't it? 0.01 of a Bitcoin is about $1,000. But people see this number here and they're like, well, who cares? 0.01 of a Bitcoin, that's not going to change my life. That's not going to do anything for me. But no, you look at it in sats. So for that, this math is a little bit wrong, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. You look at it in sats. You could actually get close to 100,000 sats you can get more than 100,000 sats for $100 today. So today, May 2026, you can get more than 100,000 Satoshis for $100. And that's the unibias. That's the switch that has to, if you can understand this now, you're going to benefit significantly in the future. If you can just understand this, don't look at like the 0.01s or the 0.5s or the 0.001s. Look at it in sats. And if you can just if you can take $5 a day or $5 a week, and you're trading these fake units that cost zero to produce, made out of thin air, you trade those units for Bitcoin, which are absolutely scarce, and they cost real energy, there's a real cost to produce them. Those are two different things. But you still have the ability to swap your dollars for sats before everybody figures this out. So acquiring whole subunits feels massive, cheap, and early. So again, the result of this is if everybody understood this, things would be much different. And the cool thing is, like, people are starting to understand this. People are starting to understand this. And even going back to our spreadsheet here. So just keep this in mind. Right now, you can buy 100,000 sats for $100. You get 100,000 sats for $100. But if we go back to our spreadsheet here, when we go from 1 sat equals 1 cent to 2 cents to 14 cents to 50 cents, and then all the way to $1, when 1 sat costs $1, that means that Bitcoin is $100 million. And those 100,000 sats that you bought today for $100 are going to be worth $100,000 worth of purchasing power when that plays out. So you're essentially taking energy today that's very cheap, and you're transferring it into the future for yourself. And probably the biggest mistake that people make in Bitcoin is that they buy Bitcoin with money that they're going to need. So the best thing that you can do is only buy Bitcoin with the money that you're not going to need for 10 years. Then you're going to be able to see this out. You're going to see this play out. You're not going to pay attention to the ups and downs, because the only thing that's changing is people's emotions and people's understanding of Bitcoin and other things going on in the world, all the distractions. The value of Satoshis hasn't really changed, but everything around us, we're still measuring it in fiat terms. That's the volatile part. So if you can buy Bitcoin today with money that you're not going to need for 10 years, that's how you win. Most people can't do that. Most people don't have long enough vision to do that. But those who do are going to be the winners of the new economy. So that's the first part here. The other thing too is that people think that because there is absolute scarcity in Bitcoin, that's a bad thing. Because again, we're so used to this system where we can just create more units. We can just keep creating. People see creating units as like an expansion of a civilization. Well, we're getting more productive. Things are worth more. No, That's not what is happening at all. So people get scared. They're like, well, if there's only this many sats, then how's everybody going to get sats? There's not enough for everybody. Well, there is, because what I mentioned before is you can infinitely divide these units. So again, going back to the land analogy here, when there was a bunch of land and nobody was here, you could buy a township for like $10. But then as more people showed up, that township went to $100 and there's less townships available. So it just kept going up. And then there was not enough townships for everybody, just like there's not enough Bitcoin for everybody. Then they split it into sections. And then they split that into half sections because, again, there was more demand. They weren't making more land. And so they just kept moving the decimal place. They kept changing the unit. So section, half section, quarter section, acres. And then what most people live on now is a lot. Because the demand kept going up, more and more people wanted to own land, but there was no ability to make more land. So that's the same as Bitcoin. And so think about it like a pizza, where you have a pizza and you can cut it into 8 slices. And then you cut it into 16 slices. And then you cut it into 32 slices. The pizza doesn't grow. You just change the units. You just change the measurement. So that's what Bitcoin is the pizza doesn't grow. In fiat, the pizza expands. And that's what this next slide talks about here. It's infinite dough. So you still have the same piece here. Let's say you had this piece right here, this one. You had this piece. And so then they did a split, kind of going back to the stock splits there. They did a split. You still have this exact same piece of the exact same pizza, except now it's just divided more, but you still have the same ownership. Nothing changed. You just changed the units, the way that people measure it. Nothing changed. Your ownership did not change, even though you split it into more units here, like over here. Your ownership, this part, did not change. Whereas in this one, the fiat expansion, the dilution, you have this piece, and as they keep printing money, your little slice of the pie here becomes worth less and less of the total ownership. So that's the difference here. And that is so important to understand. And most people can't. You see some very intelligent people in this world that cannot grasp this concept. So that's your slice of pie. And as they keep printing more, your slice of pie just becomes less and less of the total pie or the total pizza. Because it's infinite. There's no limit. There's no cost to produce more dough. And so that's the whole issue with it. So that's the second one. And then the other thing too here, and this is just kind of like, this one isn't as important as the first two, but it's still kind of worth noting. Because people think that the price of Bitcoin or the exchange rate of Bitcoin is only going to go up because they print more units, right? So there's kind of 2 engines of growth here that I would say. And they are the real growth, which is network adoption, protocol development, and global demand for block space, for scarcity. So that's when Bitcoin's winning. That's the real growth. When more people figure this out, when more people understand Bitcoin, when more people want to store their wealth in Bitcoin, that's the real growth. Because when you think about what a price is, it's demand and supply. And the supply, the bottom number here, the denominator, does not change in Bitcoin. It will never change. So as more people show up here, as more people understand this, as the demand, the top part, grows, there's more people fighting over the same amount of scarce units. So what happens? What happens when there's more people fighting for the same amount of scarce units? So demand changes. Demand goes up and down. Supply never changes in Bitcoin. So if the demand for Bitcoin goes down, price goes down. When demand for Bitcoin goes up, price goes up in real terms. So the value of the Satoshis that you're holding, they're worth more because there's more people that want it. Whereas the flip side of the story here is the engine B, the artificial. So when the government prints money, a lot of that money flows into assets, which is Bitcoin. But that's not a real growth. That's an artificial growth. Because when they print more money, everything around us, the food, the gas, the electricity, it all goes up. So even though my Satoshis are now worth more, everything around me has gotten more expensive. So I don't really win. I break even. People who don't have assets, they suffer the most. So that's artificial. That's artificial. That's not really what we're relying on here in Bitcoin, for the government to print more money. And even a lot of Bitcoiners get that wrong. They're like, well, Bitcoin's going to go to 1 million because they're never going to stop printing dollars, which is partially true. But even if that's the case, if the only reason why the price of Bitcoin was going up was because they were printing more money, Bitcoiners wouldn't be any further ahead. You have to understand that. Because again, even though your Satoshis are worth more, even though your wealth is worth more, everything around you has gone up in cost. So you just basically break even. But the real growth here is network adoption, more demand, people understanding what Bitcoin is and why it's so valuable. And more people are figuring this out every day. Hopefully this video will help some more people figure that out, and they'll start storing their wealth in Bitcoin. And as they do, again, there's more people fighting over the same amount of scarce units. And then the last one here. This is the superpower of the intangible. So we actually had somebody in the chat today who said they were comparing Spider-Man comics from the 1940s to Bitcoin. And a lot of people think that just because you can't physically hold Bitcoin, that's a bad thing. When really, that's what makes it so powerful. Why? Because when you can't touch it, you can't steal it. When you can't see it, nobody knows that you have it. So if you had well, we'll just go with the Spider-Man comic book analogy, because it's something that has stored its value well. You would consider Spider-Man original comic to be a good store of value because it's gone up in value through the years. It's rare. They're not making more of them. We can't go back to 1940 and print more Spider-Man comics. So they're rare. They're scarce. People want them. They're a good store of value. But the problem with that comic book is that if somebody comes to your house with a bigger gun, they take your comic book. You don't really own that comic book. You only own it until somebody more powerful than you with a bigger gun comes to your house and takes it from you. It's the same as with gold. It's the same as with land. It's the same as with anything that's tangible that you can touch. Because if you can touch it, you can steal it. The other part of that too is that if you got a comic book in your house and something happens to your house, your comic book's gone. If it starts on fire or there's a hurricane or a flood, that comic book's torched. Whereas with Bitcoin, you can actually set it up in a way where you can geographically disperse your private key to your Bitcoin where nobody can steal it from you. Nobody can burn it down. And also, you can't take 100 tons or 100 ounces of gold across a border. But you can have 12 words in your head and you can cross any border without anybody knowing what you have. You could walk across a border. This is Bitcoin. You could walk across a border with $1 billion worth of Bitcoin and nobody would know that you have it. You can't do that with any other asset. You can't take land on an airplane. You can't cross a border with land. You can't take your house on an airplane. If you had to leave, you have to leave everything behind except for one thing. Your Bitcoin. So that's its superpower. But again, people have this misconception because we live in a physical world. Well, we did. We now spend, probably 50-50 physical, digital, but we're so used to the physical world. And so people see that as a drawback. If you can't hold your Bitcoin, then it's not a good thing. But really, that's what gives Bitcoin its superpower, is the fact that you can't touch it. You can't steal it. You can't burn it down. You can go anywhere in the world with as much Bitcoin as you want, and nobody knows that you have it. That's a superpower. That's true freedom. That's true sovereignty that no other asset provides. So here it is, physical liability. Real estate, physical bullion are geographically trapped. They are inherently vulnerable to seizure, taxation, and border blockades. So this is gold. This is your house. This is your land. This is your Spider-Man comic book. This is a physical liability. Whereas in Bitcoin, your digital vault, the asset exists everywhere and nowhere simultaneously. And it's really hard to wrap your head around that. So you can cross borders wherever you want, as long as you get your 12 words in your head. A 12-word seed phrase secures infinite capital, infinite capital. So it doesn't matter if you're taking $10,000 or $10 billion. Doesn't matter. The 12 words are a key to move your Bitcoin. And if you can move your Bitcoin, you can sell your Bitcoin, you can spend your Bitcoin, you can take it wherever you want to go. So you cannot seize, steal, or stop what you cannot find. That is so incredibly important to understand. So this is just a summary of it. The fractional fear, thinking that 0.01 is not much, it's expensive, whereas 10,000 sats is cheap. It's the deal of a lifetime. You're trading units of illusion, units of the worst money in human history. It costs zero to produce them, infinite amount, versus units of scarcity, units that take energy to create. So this is cheap, very cheap. So the fiat adds dough. In Bitcoin, it just slices the pizza in smaller chunks. Doesn't take anything away from you. Your ownership of the network does not change if we change the units. You're just slicing the pizza. The nominal illusion is the price only goes up because they print more units, but that's not the case. It's actually both. It's network growth plus the shrinking ruler. And the dimensions, the property, physical traps. So this is where people get hung up. Assets are heavy. They're seizable. They're liabilities. Whereas Bitcoin is intangible. It has no weight. You can cross borders and it makes you fully sovereign. Unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. And so I would encourage you. I would encourage you to, number one, if you're a Bitcoiner watching this, share this with some friends and family. Don't just send it randomly to random people. Be very deliberate with it. Send it to people who have shown interest in Bitcoin, or friends and family who have Bitcoin, but they don't really understand Bitcoin. Don't bother sending it just like to random people because they're not going to get it. They're so far away from this understanding. But the people who will get this are the people who kind of already see the need for Bitcoin. So this is just hopefully going to further their conviction, help them have a better understanding, because as people's understandings grow, that means the demand for Bitcoin grows. And the sats that you hold and I hold, they become more valuable. That's the demand part of it. Demand grows, more people fighting over the same amount of scarce units. And if you are a Bitcoiner, I would encourage you, because Bitcoin's not really meant to be walked alone. It's a very lonely path by yourself. And so what I would say is we actually opened up our visionaries community a couple weeks ago. We've had over 100 people join the last couple weeks. But you can join, and you're gonna be able to associate with, collaborate with, learn from, help other people who think like you, who are on the same frequency as you. So you can join for free now. We got a ton of great resources in there. I'm going through a full course on how to actually properly secure your private keys so that you can actually take advantage of Bitcoin superpowers. But if you just want other people to talk to about this stuff, because everybody that I speak to one-on-one, they don't have anybody in their life that they can talk to about Bitcoin. So this is a very special place, this community here. And so I would encourage you, if you are a Bitcoiner, send it to other Bitcoiner friends and consider joining our Visionaries community. Very simple to find. I'll put a link in the pinned comments below here too, just to make it very easy for you. But otherwise, you can find it at school.com/88 sats. And Bitcoin is better with friends. That's the whole thing here. You become your environment. And so when you spend your time and energy with people like you, who see the same vision of the future as you, it makes your life much better. So that's it. That's what I got for you. That's the presentation. It's pretty good, eh? That was built by Notebook LM, it's called. And it was a one-shot thing. I basically just explained what I wanted in there, and that's what they put together for me. Kind of cool. Kind of cool. Oh man, this is so true. There'll be so many benefits to a Bitcoin standard. Crime rates may lower. No, they will, because it won't make sense to try to steal somebody's Bitcoin. It just won't make sense. It won't make any sort of sense to try to steal somebody's Bitcoin. Whoa, almost choked. So that's what I got. It's if you can understand those four things, man, you're going to be absolutely set for the future. You're going to be absolutely set for the future. So let's get through some comments, and then we'll check on the spreadsheet, and then we'll hit the road. Okay, what did I miss here? Maria's here. Maria says, made it here before the end of the show. Been a super busy morning for me. Good morning, all. Good morning, Maria. Maria, 2,500 today on the Rumbles. Sin's here. Good morning, Sin. Good to see you, brother. 1 sat equals 1 cent. Yes. Good day for a DCA. Amen. No, yeah, that's $1 million Bitcoin is 1 sat equals 1 cent. This is why Zap and Sats and not Bitcoin. Much better feeling for the recipient. Oh, Scotty boy. Scotty boy. So did my message appear twice? I don't see it twice. Backpackers here. BTC Backpacker says donating plasma for Sats. All hooked up at the moment. Nice. Backpacker says got to get those Satoshis. Buck52 says, I guess I should close my Swiss bank account and shut down the operations in the Caymans. Well, that's another way to do it if you got the ability to do that. Most people don't, though. Most people don't. Plastics here. Yeah, that was a pretty good slide. Hey, pretty good slideshow. I think it's easier when people, I think people can grasp it when there's something to visualize there, especially when you present it with math. People think it's a flaw, but it's Bitcoin superpower. Exactly. BTC Backpacker. Unfortunately, most people don't have the ability to think beyond what they think they know. And it's that they have to unlearn everything. That's the hard part for people, is having to unlearn everything that they've ever known. And most people just aren't willing to put in the work. It's sad, but it's the reality of things. Oh yeah, I got to update the tracker here. Then we're going to hit the road. So I actually might close down the tubes right now. So thanks everybody on YouTube. A couple things. Number one, consider I'll maybe share that. I'll share that video today. I'll clip it and I'll share it today. And I would encourage you, please, if you're not going to watch it again, just at least leave a nice comment under it and say, if you enjoyed it. If you didn't, then you don't have to worry about what I'm going to say. But if you enjoy that, if you think other people would benefit from seeing that, then just leave a nice comment and let people know. Because the comment section is kind of like the Amazon review section, where before people like spend their time on something, they want to make sure that it's going to be worth their time. So when I share that clip today, if you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a nice comment in there. I'd really appreciate it. And if you're on YouTube watching this, consider joining the legends over in Rumble. It's very, very easy. We've had a lot of people make their way over. Where is it? Well, there's this one for sure. Jorad Rizful, if you want to send in some support. We got no sponsors on this channel, so this is how we keep the lights on. We add value, and if people get value, then they can send some back. Missed the garbage can there. Not good for golf tonight. Missed the garbage can 2 feet away from me. But here it is. You just go to Rumble. You search 88 Sats, and you're going to find the chat, the main chat. Okay, so I got to update this. Rumble is right-wing Trump supporters. F them. Yeah, that's what it is. F them. I mean, if you're still thinking like that, I don't know how you made it this far in my show or shows up. That's a poor mental model to have. I think Rumble is people who actually value truth. And really what Trump's done better than anybody else in history has presented the world with truth, has shone the light on some things and some areas that were kept very private and dark through the years. The central banks, the pharmaceutical industry, Hollywood, the music industry, the fake news, the corrupt governments around the world. So yeah, terrible guy. But yeah, Rumble, there's no censorship there. You can type whatever you want, you can share whatever you want, and they won't take any videos down over there. So yeah, we're Bitcoin only. That's right. We're Bitcoin only. See a lot of racists on Rumble. There's a lot of racists everywhere, man. And even that is one of the biggest lies you've ever been told, that you're different, that you're different from somebody because you have a different skin color. Has nothing to do with your skin color. It has everything to do with your environment. And we're all humans. We're all equal. We're all equal, and you should love everybody else, no matter what color their skin is, who they vote for. Because when we get back to that, that's when we can make some real progress again in the world. Once we can get past the bullshit. So I think that, anyways, we're going to leave it there today. So again, if you're watching this on YouTube, consider hopping over. Racism was constructed. Absolutely was. Absolutely was. And they keep talking about it because then it's right in front of people's faces. It's intentional. So anyways, oh, there's a nice comment from AK. Cheers, buddy. So we're going to cut this off. I'm going to go update the tracker, and then we're going to hit the road here. So thanks, YouTube. We'll be back here tomorrow for, wow, 2 hours and 22 minutes. I need to be better. I'm going to try to end this on 2 hours, 22 minutes, and 22 seconds. Okay, catch you later.